back to my channel. So today I'm just doing a wrap up of February and March together since I forgot to do those last month. The first book that I read in February was Mindwalker by Kate Dillon. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It started off good, well. The story in the synopsis said it was gonna be like a cyberpunk Marvel mashup, but I didn't really get the Marvel part of the story besides Jarvis being a character. It was more just dystopian cyberpunk. Like the Cyberpunk 2077 game. I think as it went on after like the first quarter of the story, it kind of lost its charm, and it just became a book that was tedious and not as enjoyable as I thought it would have been, which is unfortunate because I really love the cyberpunk tropes of sci-fi. Also, the romance in the story didn't make too much sense to me. It was kind of like a slow burn, but as soon as it started, it it didn't mash up well. The second book I read was I Fell in Love with Hope by Lynn Kelly. The story wasn't what I thought it was going to be, only knowing that it had to do with mental health and being in a hospital, but I didn't realize that all the characters were for illnesses that, they just had to live in the hospital for. It's actually a sad story. It dealt with loss and, again, mental health, and I guess dealing with what it feels like to lose somebody that means a lot to you. And this book was just read too soon for me. I think it hit a little close to home, but I did end up giving it 4 stars. It's not the best thing when the author says it's okay, I guess. So maybe that put me off of it, but I actually enjoyed most of this book up until the very end when there's a plot twist. And the last book I read in February was For the Queens by Astrid Schulte. So in this book we follow Carolee Varn and the 4 queens. Getting to know the queens before the big reveal happens that they are all dead. And this is a murder mystery type of book and set in a fantasy world. There was a lot going on in this book that I guess I kind of got lost at some point, and I couldn't get close with the main character of the story. Maybe it's just the way she was behaving, the way she was acting. I don't know. I didn't like her very much, and I didn't like the romance in this that much either. The plot twist at the end was interesting, but also kind of disappointing. And the book leads you to believe that this will end one way, but a whole different thing happens, and it was interesting, but it was also really weird the way it was written. So I ended up giving this 3 stars. Next are the books I read in March. And the next book I read was Jade City by Fonda Lee, which I read for a book club. Starting off with this series, I didn't know what I was going into. I didn't look up anything about it. I just started reading. At first, it was a little hard to get into, but after a few of the first chapters, when we get into the real action part of this, it became more of a can't put down book. Basically, we're dealing with this. I think we're in a time period after World War II where this country is known for making or for producing jade, and only people of a certain area in this country can use that jade for enhanced abilities or powers. So we're following a family who is known for wearing this jade and being able to manipulate the jade or to use that jade for their advantage. They're called green bones because they're able to use those. And we're seeing a rivalry war happen between 2 different clans, where one wants to take over all of the J business, and the other one is trying to keep everything the way it always has been. The next book was Seraphina by Rachel Hartman, and I actually didn't get to finish this book last month, so I'm hoping to be able to finish it this month and give you a full review of it. So far, what I've read has been interesting. We follow our main character, Seraphina, who is half human, half dragon, in a society where humans and dragons are trying to coexist, but they are struggling to have peace among everybody because of racial differences. And one just doesn't like the other, and so the dragons have to find a way to coexist with the humans by having human forms. But I'm really intrigued by it because of the dragons. I love to see more dragons in stories. Hopefully later this month or maybe next month I'll be able to give you my full review and rating of this story. And the last book that was read in March was The Prairie of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. And this book was okay to me. I feel like the hype was too much for this book. I was expecting a lot more, especially with how big this book is. I was expecting to see more dragons. I was a little confused in the story. I ended up listening to the audiobook, which I think was my mistake with this book. The audiobook was a little hard to follow, so I may give this a second chance later on by physically reading it. We follow multiple characters in this. Iad, who happens to be a soldier or a lady in waiting, who is also a mage, which is shamed upon in this world. She is there protecting the Queen Sabran, who's said to be the last heir to this throne before the Nameless One comes, and the Nameless One is our main antagonist who is trying to rule the world, from what I understood. We also follow Tani, who is learning how to become a dragon rider, a water dragon rider. And I think we see more dragon interactions with Tani than with Sabran and Iyad. I guess that's a little more given because of her going to this academy to learn how to ride dragons. But there was so much going on in this story. It was more confusing to me, and I believe it's because of the audiobook. So this was my wrap up for February and for March. I will be making my April TBR video soon, which involves the Magical Readathon hosted by Book Roast. And thank you guys for watching. And if you made this far, thank you for watching the whole video. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.